And welcome back to Survivor Hot Takes. It is me, Ghost Drew, joined as always by Emily. Uh,
Hello.
and today we are joined by Ryan, aka Egg and Cheese Enjoyer. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank
First
you.
question, as always, season 42 hot take.
My hot take for this season is that while I am an egg and cheese enjoyer and a Jonathan enjoyer, I am not a Marianne enjoyer. So I am not a Mary Stan. She's
I
just a bit
can't
too
believe
much
that you're
for
dead
me.
to me. Can you believe that we're 5 seconds in and you're dead to me already?
You know what?
What are your issues with Marianne? Is Marianne
Yeah,
the
tell us.
player or
We just
Marianne
want
the
to talk.
character?
Well, I'm sure Marianne the person is like the best person ever. But as a player, I feel like her attitude is a bit overbearing, and I feel like she's just really grating to be around. Like, if as a viewer you can get kind of like overfed with her, I feel like I can't even imagine how they must be feeling living with her like all day. So
Right. So, can I ask you, like, why? What about her do you think that's gotten her to stay this long, as opposed to everyone else? Like, why hasn't she been public enemy number one yet?
Well, I feel like they're just people with bigger targets. I mean, as I see it right now, she's kind of like just the appendage of the Taku three that she was supposed to be the next to go. I'm sure she would have gone had they gone to their tribal, but she didn't. And now I feel like Vati and Ika both have bigger targets on their mind from their old tribes that they want to get rid of first. So I think she's just kind of been lucky that she's been kind of just pulled into this, even if she's not officially part of the majority, she's kind of just been ushered into their majority without really being noticed.
Interesting. Yeah. I am really impressed. I know that I really don't talk about Marianne that much, especially like on this, just because I feel like I'm more focused on just like the pinnacle moments. And I think that Marianne's done a really great job at having like a really big personality, but also as a strategist, being able to stay underneath the radar, which I think is just a very interesting dichotomy. A big word, dichotomy. Can you guys believe at this time on a Monday? But so that really surprises me. And I do you think that her personality is going to be something that will actually serve instead as something that people are going to want to carry her to the end, though, just because she is not someone that people like quote unquote want to be around, like using your logic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like she is somebody that people would want to string along just because they feel like, who would want to vote for her. But I feel like if she does get to the end, she has a very strong case, especially with her game, like a story outside the game, and also like if she brings up her whole underdog story and like using emotions to her advantage and how like, people look down on her, I feel like she'll definitely have a case, but it's just about getting there. And I feel like along the way it's going to be a tough road for her, but if she gets there, I think she'll be in a good spot.
Yeah.
And
Do
I
you
think
think?
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
If they end up deciding to start targeting the Taku folk, I feel like Marianne at this point probably would be not the target anymore. I feel like would firmly go after Jonathan,
Yeah,
or Omer. And if that's the case, let's say two of the four go home and Marianne gets to the end, it'll just be like, hey, y'all were targeting our crew at some point during the merge, and all of a sudden now I'm still sitting here at the end. Y'all couldn't get
Yeah.
me. Whether it's because you decided you wanted to drag me along, cool, but you didn't finish the job
Yeah.
because I'm still here.
And I think that the cool thing too with Marianne is like her strategy is different than any other strategy that we've ever seen before. I think that like she even said to like herself, like even that look at me using emotions as a weapon. I don't think that we've ever seen that in Survivor history to the same degree as Marianne plays. Like I can't even think of a parallel. You know what I mean? So I think that her being able to utilize like that sort of emotional appeal, even like what she did with the rice, like she cried and Omar was like, okay, fine, I'll step, and I think that in itself, like, and Omar is a rock. He is a strategic and just emotional rock. And so I think that she really has a way to really pull in enough numbers that are going to be able to support her and cushion her until she gets to the end. But I don't know. I could go on a whole spiel. I don't know where I'm talking. I don't know. What do you think? Everyone,
I
y'all
feel
agree
like
with me?
with the rice situation, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like she was crying in the moment because she was like genuinely like upset, and then like in her confessional, she kind of had to like back that up. Which I mean, like I understand, but I feel like at the same time, you like how you said how she's using like her emotions as a weapon. We've seen a lot of people get to the final three and say they use emotions as a weapon and then they get absolutely teared apart by the jury. I mean, obviously she's doing it a lot better than they are, but I feel like, you know, we've seen that as a very commonly failed strategy in the past.
Yeah.
Often the
We've
use is
also
kind of like,
seen it.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just like we've also seen it like as a way that has really motivated people to want to vote for you. Like if you think about like Jeremy in Second Chances, whenever he said, you know, I haven't told anyone that my wife was pregnant, like, and that really appealed to emotions at the right time. And like I know that like people talk about like Adam Klein, like obviously he shared that his mom was really sick, and at that point, like obviously that wasn't the only reason that he won the game, but that was also a really big motivator to show people like this is what I had to do to be able to get here. This is what I had to leave behind. Like, how could you not vote for someone who had to make that big of a sacrifice? So I think that if Maryanne can play with the emotions the right way and really utilize the like, people think that I'm weird and I've always been an underdog, now this is my time to shine kind of strategy, I think we might see a different outcome.
yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of it, like the thing we said about Adam and Jeremy, I kind of see that as like very different because they're using like their stories outside the game. But I feel like the way Maryanne and a lot of other people have been using emotions is that they use like crying as like, I don't know if I'm saying this right. They cry a lot and then they back it up by saying like, I was like not like, I don't know if this makes sense.
No.
Let me just stop there. Like how if you remember Julie from Edge of Extinction saying
Yeah.
how like she used emotions as a strategy and people were like, no, you didn't, you were just crying the entire time and you have no game. I feel like Maryanne's is kind of a combination of both, where like I feel like how everyone sees her right now is kind of as like the crybaby, where I feel like at Final Tribal, or at least up to that point, she needs to pull out like the actual story that is going to win her the vote.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that we're going to be able to see a lot more of that. I think that we're going to get a lot more features in this coming episode, especially considering it's divided 5 and 5, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So going into our Maryanne tangent aside, going into this last week's episode, Ryan, how are you feeling about? First of all, how are you feeling about the season? But who are some of the people that you've been rolling with so far, or are those people already gone? And how do you see the season potentially playing out based off of this episode?
Well, so far this season, I've really been enjoying it because I feel like we've been getting a much more coherent story than we were getting last season.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to hear everyone's perspective and like the stories all make sense. You know, like they're all joining together at the merge. And I feel like every tribe's dilemmas are now like coming together. Like we see baggage from like each tribe kind of like bouncing off each other. And also, as for my favorites, my favorite tribe was Ika until the end of the premiere when Zach is voted out.
Skinny Guys Alliance.
Yeah, but since then I've been rolling with Jonathan, and I really hope he can bring it home. It's unlikely, but I can. I don't
know. Yeah, I think that that's really cool that you're super into Jonathan, because I think that we've talked about Jonathan from the start, and we've said like the same thing. Like there's no way this dude's gonna make it to the end. Like he's a challenge beast. But like he's, after watching how he's performed in the last 2 immunity challenges, like I mean rewards is one thing, but like 2 immunity challenges like that, like I think that he's proving that he can stay under the radar, even being a really big fish in a smaller pond, you know?
Yeah, you can go out and win every reward challenge, but if you're not winning immunities, I think that challenge beast label that you've had for most, if not all of the pre-merge and probably coming to the merge kind of goes down like this. Oh yeah, but he can't win the big one. So let's keep him around because, we don't have to worry about him right now. We need to get rid of this actual challenge beast and Tori.
Right.
Can
you believe? I did not see that coming at all.
Please just leave. Please just leave the show forever. But I do think that if that does continue, let's say he doesn't win immunity in the next 2, and let's say he just flops in those immunity challenges, he doesn't even come in second or third like he has in the last couple. I think that'll definitely take the Superman thing off of him, because it's like, okay, Superman wins. That's like his whole thing. And if he's out there not winning anymore, then why do I care about this person at this point when there are bigger strategic threats that we need to worry about and bigger social threats that we need to worry about?
Now, Andrew,
and he's now aligned with Mike, kind of.
Yeah, they're in love. They're in love.
Yeah.
So, Mike is aligned with a lot, and we're getting a lot of Mike content the last couple of weeks. and his relationships with people, which I enjoy because I do really like Mike. I didn't think that I would at the beginning of the season, just because. And he's the whole Gates for Mike thing on Twitter is what I love, and just
the most heartwarming content we've ever seen on the internet. It's beautiful.
Yes. So I do think that Jonathan could be protected right now. It's going to be fun to watch this episode after tomorrow when Jonathan leaves, and I'll be like, "Oh yes, protected, huh?"
I'll say that.
Yeah.
Do you think, Andrew, like has your perception on Jonathan changed? Because I know that he's someone that you've been saying, especially from the start, like, hey, like he's not going to he's going to be a really a really early boot once they get to the jury or once they get to the merge. Do you think
I still feel like he could be. I think that if he escapes a double boot episode tomorrow, I'd say next week would be a good time for him to maybe go. But my opinion of Jonathan is I like him. He's better than most of the challenged beasts that we've had in the show's history. I don't dislike him like I do with some of the challenged beasts we've had in Survivor history. And it seems like he has some knack for how to play the social game.
And the way that he calls Jeff Mr. Jeff,
Mr. Jeff,
like that, he is the sweetest little nugget. I just want to put him in a little box and carry him with me everywhere.
I think what turns me off is the accent because I'm sweating.
Really?
I just love him. I just love him.
Yeah, I do like Jonathan. I like Jonathan.
Yes.
Somewhere sending it seething. But I'll deal with it later.
Can't believe. And just because of that, he's gonna get taken out next episode.
I put a curse on him. No, so my winner pick was Chanel, and as we in this episode, jumping the gun a little bit, Chanel does go home, and I think that was one of the more predictable ones. And we were talking about this before we went live. This is another one of those. We've had maybe one or two of these so far this season. Filler episodes, and filler does not mean bad. I know sometimes it can be perceived as it being bad, but I feel like, especially the filler episodes this season, it's just more of a, hey, let's build to that next big moment that we're about to get. And like that next big moment will be happening tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So you need that little grace period, basically, where it's like, okay, we think Chanel's probably going to go home this episode. Oh, Chanel went home. Cool. But what other things happen in it that's going to set us up for the next episode? And what were the big things that happened in this episode? We'll start with the Drea thing. What were you guys' opinions on the Drea advantage? Another Drea advantage.
My first thing, I mean, wow. Have we ever seen someone who's been able to be that lucky and skilled at getting this many advantages in Survivor history? I don't think so. But the other, I'd like to talk a little bit about how she even got to the point of getting the advantage, because originally how they divided it, and then one person had to choose a rock where they would not be able to participate in the peanut butter and jelly reward, the sacred PB&J from home, and
just because a family visit.
Why? Yeah. And Drea's well, I just don't like it. I mean, I think there are a few different reasons that she could have stepped aside from it. It could have been her looking that it was Jack City on the other side, her be I think I'm just gonna I'm good. This isn't for immunity. I'll dip out. Right. It could have been she really just didn't like peanut butter and jelly. Right. Or
maybe she actually does not like peanut butter. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible. But I think that the other thing is, there's been seasons in the past, in Game Changers, where they've hidden different clues and stuff like that to other advantages. So do we think that maybe in the back of her mind, she thought that it was an opportunity for her to sit out to look for an advantage? Or Absolutely. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Ryan,
I feel she definitely figured. I mean, maybe she doesn't, because in her confessional she said I really didn't like PB&J, but I guess I got lucky. I feel if she really thought there was an advantage, she wouldn't have said that. But I mean, that must have been back in her head. She must have thought you know what, maybe there'll just be something. I'll just go see. And she saw, oh, there was. What I was surprised to see was that nobody else challenged her, because I'm sure there must have been at least one other person who might have thought, maybe there's something there. But I guess once one person steps up and says, I'll sit out, I don't think anyone else is going to challenge him. No, I'll sit out. I think by that point it'll become a bit obvious. But
right. What's interesting to me too is whenever they did a challenge similar to this last season, Xander did the exact same thing. He was someone who was selected to be on one of the different competing teams, and he chose to sit out so the other person could participate, which I thought was like just super, super interesting. And I think that I don't know. I think to me it was more of a combination. I mean, like, yeah, she didn't like peanut butter and jelly, like that. That's very believable. But like, I also just think like she recognized that if Jonathan's on the other tribe, and there's no way in hell that she's gonna win. Like, at least that's what I would do. I want to save as many calories as I could to participate where it counted.
Yeah, I agree, and I do want to touch on this comment in the chat real quick about that. So the only reason I don't think that Jonathan threw the challenge or has thrown any immunity challenges is because I feel like if he were throwing challenges, they would at least show us a confessional where he says he's doing it so that we know, because you know the show clearly loves Jonathan, so they want us to know how he's feeling about a lot of things. So if he's throwing challenges, they're going to want us to know that he's throwing these challenges, so we're not sitting at home thinking, oh man, like Jonathan lost. Oh no. So I could be wrong. It could come out tomorrow that Jonathan threw the last challenge, but I would say that as of right now, I don't think that he did, because I feel like they would have shown something that said, hey, yeah, he lost on purpose.
Right. And I honestly like, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Brian. I'll really, really quick comment. I don't think that it's in Jonathan's blood to lose something. He's a competitor. He's someone who, like, if he can win by a blowout, he will win by a blowout. We've seen that time and time again. I don't think that it's possible for him to be able to throw an immunity challenge. So I don't know. But what do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like how Drew was saying that, there's no way, they want us at home to be thinking, well, Jonathan's losing. But I feel like on the flip side of that, maybe he did tell them that, I am throwing challenges to, like, as a strategic decision. But I feel like the producers or editors might think that might sour the viewer's opinion of him. Like, wow, like this guy we've been rooting for so hard is like now like suddenly tanking for like strategic. Like, we don't want to see strategic Jonathan. We want to see physical Jonathan. I feel like they don't want to see like,
Right. And the last two challenges, the last two immunity challenges are challenges that typically men, or not just men, but like, well, yeah, I mean, it is typically just men, like that, like big, bulky men, like don't tend to do well on anything that requires balance, or like maintaining a specific posture for a certain period of time. Men who have like that kind of bicep and that kind of build tend to not be very successful at being able to hold their body in certain ways for a long period of time. These challenges that we're seeing them compete in are challenges that are very multidimensional. It's not just like who can like jump through this many hoops for the quickest amount of time and then swim and save a whole tribe in the water. Like it doesn't look like that once they get to the merge, because it requires a very multidimensional and multifaceted understanding of how to use all your skills to be the sole survivor.
And we say that, and Jonathan is still finishing. I think the first merge challenge he was like second or third.
Until he drops,
then last week he was second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not like he's just totally flopping in these. He's still the challenge beast that we've seen throughout the season. It's just that he's run into the queen of challenges.
Yeah.
And I feel
I can't believe you're being so nice to Tori today. I'm so proud of you.
I was so frustrated watching this episode, because it's like, all right, yeah, they're trying to show us that Chanel or Romy are going to go home, but in reality, it's going to be Tori and it's going to be great. And the challenges are dropping off one by one, and it's like, all right, I guess I'll root for Jonathan in this. He has to win one eventually, right?
You guess you root for Jonathan?
Yeah, I guess I'll root for Jonathan in this, and then he drops, and it's like,
I felt the same.
Right, well, guess we're doing this again, and I don't know. Everyone knows my opinions on Tori at this point. If you're listening to the season, you know that I'm not one of those Tori stands, and there are a lot of Tori stands on Reddit, on the cesspool mostly, not on Twitter. Gay Twitter hates Tori for the most part.
Really?
And I know
she's kind of growing on me. Like at first, like I think that they started by giving her a little bit more of a villain's edit, but I think like, come on, like she's this like jacked woman, like doing like being a challenge beast. Like I don't know, I'm eating it up. I'm living for it.
I feel like I would like Tori a lot more if she wasn't so anti-Jonathan.
True, but she's anti a lot of people. Honestly, also like sorry, now I'm kind of going backtrack, but like not only is she really good at challenges, but she's like mad perceptive. Like kind of tying back into what we were talking about with Drea too. Like once she was able to get that red-handed challenge, which hilarious. She was the only one who was able to catch like the little streak of red on her arm. And then she also knew that she had something stuffed in her pants. Like no one else noticed that but Tori. I'm telling you, this girl's gonna make it far, or that she just made a bigger target on her back than already was.
Let's hope
know?
so. Let's hope it's the latter and not the former. But yes, if we want to just segue from that to the paint, do you think this was a good idea on how to get an advantage? You know, because we've only seen Beware advantages pre-merge so far in this new era of Survivor, and so having a Beware advantage happens like, oh, how are they going to do this? They can't say a stupid phrase at a challenge anymore. So what are they going to do? And so they add this extra element to it. So what do you all think? Do you think that this is something that they can continue to do? Like my opinion is for pre-merge Beware advantages, they're going to have to either tweak it or just get rid of it because people are going to know that if someone says something stupid in a challenge.
Right.
But I do think that if they want to keep the Beware advantages for the merge on and do things like burying it in a bucket or in a whatever of paint, I do think that that'd be a good idea to like say, hey, you can have this, but people might find out very soon that you do have this. So,
I think that like if they utilize the high stake, high reward, like honestly, I don't know if they can do the exact same thing over and over again, but like I like the concept of like we didn't even see like the red blood, the red paint rather, kind of look like blood, coming at all, right? And like so for me, and Andrea loved it too. Like she kind of scoffed at herself after she did it, And I think that in itself, if they can do things that really, really push the envelope of being caught, that's going to be something that they're going to continue to utilize.
Yeah, what I really liked an example of doing this was when they did like the sneaking into the other tribe camp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that one.
Obviously, like now that they're merged, I feel like you could just like there's an idol like in the tree above your camp when everyone is sleeping, go grab it.
Yeah.
Maybe not something that's like a physical cue, but maybe like I don't know, like something that not something that can leave like a physical residue on you that could like get you later. I feel like anything that involves like more like a sneaky execution, like when other people are around, that'll be a lot better because like she did a great job of like going and grabbing it when no one was looking, but when she got back and they're still on her hand, like obviously like nothing she could have done about that.
But like, here's my question about this. Okay, there's a whole freaking ocean, like right there, right? Like if you were covered like from literally like nail to like elbow in red, like. Why didn't you just like wash yourself off really quick or be like, oh man, like, yeah, maybe I got a scratch, Oh, let me just like quickly like, wash myself off in the ocean. Why didn't you do that?
Yeah, and my whole thing with that is, yes, she could have done anything like that.
She could have literally done anything else than what she did.
which is clean it off real quick and then go back to camp and just hope. Yeah. And the craziest part of that whole thing is, that you just put your hand, you who has already done this in the premiere with the paint and the mud and all that, you should know that you should probably look everywhere before you go back because you don't want people potentially suspecting something is up, especially Omar and Lindsay, who know that there are things hidden here, there, and everywhere, and they're the only two that actually know this right now.
Hi, Lindsay.
The bigger thing is, what's up? Oh no, yeah, hi Lindsay. Yeah, hi Lindsay. Sorry.
I was like, why does Omar know? What did I miss?
I have Omar and Lindsay in my head because they're from the same tribe. So hi Lindsay. But the bigger thing that I wanted to touch on with that is there's no chance that Drea gets sent home with everything still intact, right? Like, there's no way she gets blindsided without using anything, right?
It could be. I think that like so she has what 4 advantages right now, or 4 different like assets that you can like. Am I right?
She has the amulet, the idol, the extra vote, and the
Beware advantage.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah. Okay, so she has those 4 things. Okay, and how many tribal councils do they have left? They have 7. Is it 7?
7. Well, technically,
6?
she would have 6 because she's not
But-
going to go to one of the 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, and she couldn't utilize the
There's 4 more, I think.
so it'd be about 4 where she can use them. So she theoretically could use one advantage per tribal council to get her, as long as she plays her cards right. That blows my mind. I just realized. Look at math. Like giving that's so crazy.
Look at
Shout out math. It's blowing my mind. 5 tribals and fire making. Josh, thank you. I miss you dearly. So okay, so that's really, really interesting. There's no way that people can't see her as a big threat, though, because I feel like this could be something really similar to Ghost Island, where like Wendell and Dom had literally all the power, and at some point people's backs were just up against the wall, and they were like, well, like damn, like just let them have the pick of the shout out to Matt. Just like have like our pick of the litter. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, what do you guys think that she's still in the best position, or do you think that she's just too much of a threat at this point that people are going to start to try to wipe her out?
I feel like, well, so if she was that much of a threat, I feel like her sitting out of the reward challenge should have set something off in someone's head, like this is what she's doing. Everyone in the game knows that she has at least something. Everyone knows that she has something.
True.
They don't know
Very
what.
true.
Everyone in the game knows that about at least one of her advantages.
Except for maybe Tori and Rocksroy, right?
They know about that.
No, they all know. They all know. Never mind. I remember. Good.
So something should go off in someone's head and say, hey, that's cool and all, but Dre is definitely smart enough to know that there could be something up around this challenge for the people that sit out. So if they really have clocked her as a threat, I feel like that would have made the episode non-filler, as if all of a sudden it's Drea on the line because people realize how much of a threat she is. And that could be the storyline going into tomorrow. It could be, are people going to finally smart up on the fact that Drea is this strategic, social, and advantage threat?
Yeah.
Or are they going to let her go?
You know, it would be like so cute and crazy if like Romeo reharnessed the power that Drea has been taking from him from the majority, right? And gathered his whole group of minions. So it would be like Tori and maybe Marianne, because Tori did
Romeo's minions.
No, Romeo's gonna have minions now. It's gonna happen. And then they all come together and they vote out Drea. They're like, yo, like she's too much of a threat. We got to get her out of here. Like they all compare notes. I'm calling it right now. That's my hot take.
I feel like that would never happen, though, honestly. Because I feel like
Ryan.
I feel like Drea has done such a good job of utilizing her advantages to make like alliances. Like she has her idol alliance with Mike and Marianne. She has her amulet alliance with Hai and Lindsay. And then like I don't think anyone knows about her extra vote or her knowledge is power. Her idol and her amulet are known.
People know about her extra vote because during the merge, she told Omer, I think Jonathan, and one other person that she had
before.
Right. And Romeo knows about her immunity idol because he was there with her. So I just think that it's going to take one person to like be able to be like, can I just say something about Drea? You know, like, I know that she has this, and they're gonna be like, yo, what? Like, I heard she has this, and I know she has this. Yo, what? Like, let's take her. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it just takes one person to do it, and it's gonna be Romeo. I changed my whole mind.
I don't think it's gonna be Romeo though.
What?
Who are you imitating there?
I don't know. I was just blown. I don't know.
I don't think it would be Romeo though, because like
why, Ryan?
They had that whole segment about how he's like uplifting independent women.
Yeah, True, but like until it's time for him to slit their throat.
Well, like, why would they mention that at all? Like, we've seen him like support Drea, and then Drea has done nothing in return for him except like put him on the bottom, and then just vote her out. Like,
and that's my thing with Drea this season. So I think we have our set villain is Tori, but I think that our more compelling villain, at least on in show, is Drea because of her confessionals, where she's basically saying, I have no emotional attachments to any of these people. I just met them. I don't really care. And she has the evil laugh that they use as they pan away to the next scene. And they've done that multiple times, especially in the last few episodes. So I do think that she's being portrayed as like the the fun villain of the season, while Tori's being more portrayed as like the please get her off my TV villain. Because I'm done with her. I'm so done with her.
I love her. I think she's doing a good
so
job.
done with Tori.
She's weaseled her way back into
But here's the problem I have with Tori. I feel like she can't be that compelling of an actual villain to be taken seriously because her motives are always changing. Like she
Mhm.
never has a goal that like she's like, I'm gonna do this. Cause like every 5 minutes she's like, well, I was like this, now I feel like this, now this person's like, she has no allegiances, but I feel like she has no vision. She's kind
Yeah.
of just like talking to whoever, spilling information to whoever without any really kind of like direction.
True.
And I mean, I'm not gonna dwell on the Tori thing much longer, just because
Okay.
like that's been my theme for the season. But at this point, I don't like now that Chanel's gone. Yes, they could very easily just target Tori next if she doesn't win immunity. But what I think is probably going to happen is people are going to leave her alone for a bit and start, because they're going to get trigger happy and start trying to go after the big threats. And all of a sudden, Tori is sitting there at final 6 or final 5, and it's like, how did we get here? There's going to be that conversation we have in the bathroom at the finale party. How did we get to the fact, that Tori might win this season? She's not going to. Tori's not going to win this season.
I don't think that she's getting a winner's edit, but I also like, what is a winner's edit after 41? Like I mean, it could be Lindsay for all we know. And we don't even know that Lindsay existed until a couple days ago. I did, because she's in my fantasy league, but most people don't. So it'll be interesting.
And going off of that, they've done so well at trying to remedy things that they did wrong or that the audience said that they did wrong last season. Whether they think they did it any wrong or not is, on them.
Right.
Well, the audience said they did wrong last season. My fear is, and this is the only reason that I don't want Lindsay to win, because I like Lindsay and I would be cool. I'd be cool if she won if certain things happened. But why I'm not rooting for her right now is if Lindsay gets to the end right now, based off of what we've seen so far, and let's say that continues where we get like maybe one confessional from Lindsay and we don't know her backstory and all that, and she wins, this season's going to end up leaving a bad taste in people's mouths.
True.
Because and it's done so well at like remedying everything, and if it just ends like that, it's going to be like, oh, you guys really didn't listen to us then, because people weren't annoyed. Certain people weren't annoyed that Erica won. It was the fact that we weren't shown anything about her. I'm not talking about the Xander was robbed people. They can get robbed. I'm talking about the people that were annoyed at the fact that we didn't see enough of Erica, even though I feel like we did see enough of how people perceived Erica, at least. If Lindsay wins based off the edit she's getting right now, for what I'm hoping happens is she starts getting, they tell her backstory tomorrow, because I think besides
Wednesday.
What's today? Oh, Monday.
Monday.
But I think besides Tori, she's the only person we haven't gotten a backstory for this season.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that Tori didn't get one. Yeah, but I do think I think you're right, and I think I've been I rewatched the preview right before we started, and it looks like she's going to be in a position where her big feature is going to be potentially being like Jonathan's counterpart, and I think that's I think that's when we're really going to hopefully get more of a Lindsay feature and know anything about her existence. That would be chill. I would like to know a little bit more about her, as well as Tori. I want to know a little bit more about Tori too, but maybe because she's getting that quote unquote villainess edit, people, we don't want to know her backstory, or viewers don't want to know her backstory. They don't care about it because all they care about is rooting against her.
And it's kind of a cheat because I did watch her play Sequester, so I do know some of her backstory.
Tori or Lindsay?
Tori.
Okay.
But we don't have her Survivor on CBS, how they portray her backstory, and I would actually like to see that, as much as it pains me to say. So anyway, one last thing that we wanted to touch on, Ryan, how do you feel about the fact that there's no Ponderosa this season?
I'm devastated.
Me too. I'm devastated. I think like that came as a big shock to a lot of the Survivor like Twitterverse and just the Survivor community, because Chanel just like dropped like a 1-word tweet or something like that. And we were like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. What are our theories? Why do we feel like, I know that like nothing is like set in stone, but do we have any theories as to why this is something?
I might feel like timing was an issue, especially, I don't know, like, because like they filmed 41 first and they were able to keep everyone there while they're preparing 42. Now that 42 is over, they're like, well, we have to go home now. But no, that doesn't make sense. It's during the season still. Ponderosa is still during the season.
Yeah.
I really have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people have been posting on Reddit and everything, and as much as I like to avoid that website, I do occasionally like move over there just to see what the crazy folk are talking about. And people are posting their think pieces about why they think it is, and people are posting information that they're claiming is like firsthand and is true. But I don't deal in rumor and innuendo, as a famous wrestling podcaster might say. So I try not to put any stock into what they say until it comes out what the real reason is.
Do you think it will come out?
No.
Yeah. Here's a crazy outlandish theory. I called Kim about this a little bit ago. Hey Kim, love you. I have a crazy theory that it's going to be Pearl Islands 2.0, and they're going to come back. The whole jury is going to come back and try to fight them from Ponderosa, and then they're all going to, and one person is going to make their way back in.
No.
No.
No. Okay.
No, believe it or not, they actually did that once.
Well, and with Pearl Islands, they did that at the beginning. No, they did that right before the merge.
Yeah.
This is.
But okay, I just feel like you guys need to be more supportive of my
Here's
dreams.
the thing.
Because
I do believe there's a 0.0001% chance it can happen, because they did do that. They have done it before. Okay, on this Celebrity Australian Survivor season, like way back in like 2000, like I think 6, they did do that where like I think at the merge they brought at like the final 5 they brought like 3 jury members who were on Ponderosa like eating food. They brought them back into the game, and then they like the 3 people from Ponderosa like voted out the rest of the other people, and then like the 2 people in the final 2 were 2 people from Ponderosa.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, Ryan.
But that is a horrible ending, though.
Don't end with the buzz. No, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I'm calling it right now. Y'all heard it here live. It's happening.
I almost called you Lindsay because we were talking about Lindsay.
How dare you? That's actually a big honor. I take it back. Thank you.
If that does happen, I will eat this rock. So Ryan, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I think we both really appreciate it. We will probably have you back, if not before the end of this season, during our 42 and 42 that we're doing over the summer. I know that you're a fan of at least talking about Ghost Island.
Yes.
So when we get to that part of the marathon, maybe a couple episodes along the way. I don't know why my camera went blurry, but we're going to go with it.
That's okay.
Once again,
it's the monster.
Yeah, it's the monster that we've been looking for 21. It's finally shown up. When you talk crap about Tori, it blurs your mind. As we do always, we set a certain time that we wanted to do this. We wanted to do it in 20, and we're at 38. So I think that this means that we had a good time, as always. Yep. Even for a filler episode like this, we were able to get almost 40 minutes of content out of it. So please subscribe to the channel. Please follow us on all the streaming sites. Please leave a comment if you would like, and all that.
Leave us comments. Leave us little love notes.
No spam. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see y'all on the other side.